Malawi was beyond anything that I had expected.
I mean, their lifestyle is 100% different than ours.
Before I left, I had assumed, there'd be like flat ground and a lot of bush and trees in certain areas, and lions and tigers. But going there, I totally shifted my mindset. We landed, and as I looked out the window, I saw mountains. I'm like, oh, there are mountains in Malawi, and there were like trees everywhere. And though the grounds were dusty, the people they didn't care, and it was just really crazy. Wow.
Walkway ended up partly in the sewer ditch, and that the smell and the stench and the ugliness, that's the least favorite memory. The water runs whenever they dump their water out or whatever else they dump out, it ends up in the water runs into those areas, and that's how the walkways are too.
And the raining seasons, like they told me, the downpours a lot in the summer, showers very, very, very rarely in the winter.
And when it does rain, it's a passing shower that doesn't even soak the ground. And because of that, their crops fail. There's not enough food. Their animals don't have enough to eat because the grass is withered. And the wells go dry, what they do have.
There's none in the spring and the fall, so... The shoes are wet. We should take them up so they won't be so wet anymore. Times people were very welcoming. They were very happy to see us. A lot of them, a lot of people that weren't Christians, you could tell by the way they acted, was just they would always ask for money.
Wow, some of these people are really greedy. And this guy offered to push our cart. He took it from me and pushed it, and then he asked me for money. I was like, I was pushing my own cart. You took it out of my hands. And this guy's like, no, you give me money. You get thing. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, this guy was starting a fight, and then Devarius obviously stepped in and was like, hey man, we didn't offer you anything. We didn't ask you. We brought men with us to do this. And but that was my first impression.
There's a definite difference between the dark and the light there. It was so easy to pick out the people who knew the Lord among the people that didn't, because the difference was so prevalent. Here in the United States, we have so many things that consume our lives that the light's a little dimmer, and it's a little more difficult to pick out. But there it was pretty evident who was walking in the light and who was walking in darkness. Gotta be aggressive. Wow. I'm still looking for crutches.
They're getting a tour. Oh, that's the bus station.
The thing was in Malawi that most of the people spoke English. I mean, most of the people, if they weren't poor, they had an opportunity to go to school and learn English, so they didn't have to worry about not knowing anything. Most of the signs out of the city are all English, because that's the most common language besides Chichewa, which is the main language.
I found it interesting the way they dressed. Most of them had just wraparounds as far as the women, and the guys had 3-piece suits on, sometimes 4-piece suits. And it was so funny to see, in the place we were at, it was pretty dusty and pretty dirty. Most of the travel was done on foot or in these so-called buses. And and all the guys had these three-piece suits on with ties and very elegantly dressed, and the ladies were dressed in these wraparounds, and the most of the women we saw traveling didn't have any shoes on, and I was just amazed at how durable their feet were. They could walk so far with no shoes on and through the terrain we were walking on. And then to see them carrying their wares on their head, that was quite interesting. I said I wanted to try that.
What? Try what?
That.
Oh.
And then there were the people who had the bicycles. They were bicycle taxis with a little cushion on the back, and that was how they made their living.
Electricity there. Like, I thought no one had electricity. Well, it seems that most people do, but it's not very dependable as often, so no one has any electricity. I remember my friend Dan coming up to me and saying, "So in America, does your electricity like go out all the time too?" And I'm like, very, very rarely. And he was like, "Oh." So it was very apparent to me that it was a very common occurrence that electricity would go out so fast.
Okay, funny thing, the last day in Malawi, and we have no electricity. Isn't God funny? I mean, half the people on the mountain hardly ever have electricity. It only comes on partially every once in a while. And we get to experience it firsthand. It's just like being at home during an ice storm or power outage, but this is like constant for them. So, yeah, it's weird. Definitely want to bless these people.